All right. Welcome to Success Through Open Houses. I really appreciate everyone being here today. We had an appointment, and it is time for that appointment to begin. It is 30 minutes after the hour, and we're ready to get started. So I am actually on the road today. I'm not on the road at the moment. I am on the road for a personal trip, and so I have chosen, because of the technology abilities of where I am today, to not be on video. I'm using a hotspot, and I'm in a location where I just want to make sure that your presentation today goes uninterrupted. And so if anybody was really looking forward to looking at my pretty face, you can, text me or something like that, and I'll send you a selfie. I just don't want to mess up your coaching call today. So I am so excited to have you guys. Today, we're going to get a little bit more into the nitty-gritty behind the scenes in an open house and give you guys the tools that you need. And I've sent some files into Maps, and we're going to be having those things uploaded into your Basecamp so that you guys have some tools for success, some checklists and things like that, a couple more scripts to use with your open houses as well. So that's going to be coming as well. Be on the lookout inside of Basecamp for those things to be uploaded. So today may be a little bit shorter call. It's probably going to be about 30 minutes plus questions today, unless, the questions really take us really far and deep into these systems. But my real goal is to make sure that you have the T's crossed and the I's dotted that allow you guys to grow this open house system and have a really great experience both with the agents. If you've got multiple agents that are on your team, or a different agent that's holding the open house, different agent that has it listed, any of the above scenarios, if you have administrative assistants behind the scenes, or even if all of those things are you, I want you to have the systems that you need for success so that you've got a way to close the gap and create a really great experience. So one of the things that I want to start with is, we've talked about the lead generation, we've talked about planning the open house, everything. One of the things that we have found to be especially important in this process is your communication with your seller. And the communication with the seller, it does require a few different things. If anybody's ever walked into a dirty open house, you know what I'm talking about. You know the kind of struggles that I'm talking about. If you've ever walked around and done like a quick walkthrough for the house that you're about to hold open, and you realize they've left out like jewelry or medicine or anything of value, etc., you know where I'm coming from. If we communicate ahead of time with the things that we're looking for from the seller and that we need from them to kind of set their expectations, we've got ourselves off to a better start, and you're going to start hitting some of those hurdles before they ever actually become a hurdle. So I have included this. I'm going to zoom in just a little bit for all of us, including myself here. I copied this from the email that our team sends out. And I don't have to read this to you to go through this. What I am going to emphasize is, if you take a look here, we've got the open house when it's scheduled. We're confirming when it's scheduled. We've reaffirmed the team's name, the agent who's going to be hosting it. We've reaffirmed the contact information for everyone. So in case they need anything from any of those agents, they've got contact information. And we've encouraged them to reach out to us if they need us. Then in the second paragraph, we have very specifically asked them to go ahead and secure their personal valuables, such as money, firearms, jewelry, medications, etc. And, people think we're kidding. People don't realize it, but we don't. I mean, I live in the South. I've already told you guys this. Sometimes people will leave guns sitting out. They're not thinking about it. It's how they live their life. I'm not judging them one way or the other. And we don't need that sitting out during our open house. That's just not something that we need going into a professional open house. You also want to be really careful about medications, right? If they have medications, you never know what kind of people are walking into that open house. You just want to make sure that we've put away everything of value. We've got the house cleaned up. It's, shades are open. A lot of the staging, though, can be handled by your agent when they get there. but reminding your people to put away the more personal and valuable items is going to be really important. The other thing that I realized is, not every house has this, and yet it's important to ask, if you're going to be at that open house and you plan on getting online registrations while you're there, sharing Facebook Live videos and things like that, I would anticipate that you'd have some type of device there with you, either a phone or an iPad or a laptop, something that allows you to actually tap into the technology that we have available. It's okay to ask for a Wi-Fi password while you're there and let them know. Like, if they ask, why do they need the Wi-Fi password? Well, we're going to be opening this up. It actually says it in this email. We're going to enable this agent to use a direct link to our database, requiring all the guests who stop by the open house to sign in electronically, both for safety and follow-up purposes. Now they know you're not just going to be playing some silly game. I can't even think of a silly game. I don't know, Minesweeper, which doesn't require internet. I don't know why I picked that one. But if they know why you need the Wi-Fi. Anything else that you guys are thinking about is that you need to cover before you go to an open house. If you realize you've been holding a couple of open houses and maybe in your area there's something that's coming up that people are not aware of, you put it in this email so that it can go out to those clients, and you're going to send this to them. You can really send it as soon as you schedule the open house. But the other thing is, you don't want to send it too far in advance. I would send this a couple of days in advance so they have plenty of time to prep and they've got their mind on things, but that they also have it close enough in their email to go back to. And somebody has asked, when did you send this? When did I send it? I don't know if you're asking when do I send it to the client. When you send it to the client, I would say a couple of days before the event. When did I send it to you guys? It likely has not been sent to you guys yet. It will be uploaded into Basecamp for you. So you guys will see that probably in the next day or two pop up in your systems in there. So I apologize. I was late getting that to Maps, and so they probably didn't have that loaded in there yet. The other thing that I have found more and more important these days is the communication between the agent that's holding the open house and the listing agent. You guys, this is a relationship business, and if we're going to do a really great job at this, communication is everything. If you are the agent that's holding the open house, maybe just do a self-assessment. Ask yourself if you're communicating well enough with the seller and with the listing agent. Do you know how to coordinate with the seller when you get there and when you leave? Do you know what's important to them? Do you know what's important about the house? Is there anything exceptional that you should be aware of? And getting that person prepped before going in there so that they walk in knowledgeable. Nobody wants to walk into an open house and ask questions and not get any answers to them. The person who's holding the open house should have reviewed the property disclosure and probably have a copy of it with them, right? We talked about having an information sheet and a property disclosure right behind that and only having one copy. So you can reference it to get answers for the people that walk in, and yet you're not having to go say, well, I'm going to go check with the listing agent. I can try to get that answer for you, and this, that, and the other. You could say, you know what, I was looking at that earlier. Let me pull up that property description and let me see if I've got the answer for you here. I don't want to give you the wrong answer. But sounding knowledgeable and having the resources will keep you, keep you in front of the clients longer. It'll allow you to build rapport with them faster. And if you're able to give them what they're looking for, which is information, you're gonna have a client for life if this person's not already represented. So I want to talk about registration. If the only option is paper, there are multiple open house sign-in pieces of paper that you can print out from Ignite, from the listing systems within my KW. If you just go on to KW Connect and search for open house sign-in sheets, you're going to find more than one, okay? So if you're looking for what needs to go on a paper registration, It's not complicated. You guys can go pull one of those and print them out very, very, very easily. However, make sure you write one person's name in there before you start so that the first person walking in isn't technically the first person on the sheet. Okay? There's a little bit of a problem that I have with paper, though. As we move forward into the next tech wave for real estate agents and understanding that we are moving in the direction of a tech company, and that these people, they may be walking into this house because that's the only way they can walk into this house, but they've got their fingers on every bit of data that you have for the most part. And in order for us to set ourselves apart differently, you're going to need systems that make you look better than you actually are. Because I don't know about you guys, but does everybody on this call always remember to follow up with every single person perfectly? Because I know I don't, right? And so we need systems that help us and support us. That is why I would prefer that you dig in and you figure out an online system that works for you. If your CRM will allow you to do registrations right there on an iPad or on a laptop, and they will auto feed right into your database, that would be the preference. There are a few of those systems that will do that. Command, I'm sure, is right behind it. We're asking for lots of things, and Gary and Josh team are providing. So I feel like that's coming right around the corner. And it could be very simple for you to create a form or a landing page with the new landing pages that they've created, and test those out before you go into an open house, because one of those landing pages could simply be your open house registration page. If you don't know all of those, but you have a Google email address, then go into Google Drive and learn how to create a free Google form. Have that Google form automatically create an Excel spreadsheet. And if this is completely brand new information to you, you have no idea what I'm talking about with a Google form and having it feed into the spreadsheet, go spend just a little bit of time on YouTube and Google that. Just say, how do I create a Google form? And watch those videos. They will walk you through it step by step. And all you really need on there is the person's name, email, phone number, and some kind of closing question of some point. Like, when are you looking to buy, or do you have an agent representing you? You do not want to make this 20 questions. You want to make it as simple as possible where they actually want to fill it out. And my favorite types of registrations, if you guys can find them, and if you're very, very tech savvy, my favorite kind of registrations are the kind where it only shows you the first section to fill in. Okay, I pop up the screen, it says, please sign in. And it says first name and last name. I type my first name and last name and I hit enter. And then it goes to the next screen and then it asks me for the second bit of information. Those are my absolute favorite, because when people see that there's 6 things required of them, they're not as likely to fill it in. So the fewer items that you guys ask for, the better. And so do not make it complicated. Do not ask them, all of the LP mama, location, price, mortgage, motivation, agent, appointment. Don't ask them all that stuff up front. We're just asking them to sign in. You are going to create a conversation later. And I realized I just went through LP mama really fast. We should probably go over that when we go over scripts. I'll make sure that I cover that with you guys as well. So online registration does a couple of different things. First of all, you appear tech savvy, like you've got it together. Okay, we're not doing this old school paper form. Now, I would be remiss if I didn't tell you, sometimes we have to do a paper form. Okay, some of our agents do not have an iPad, or the technology is just not available at that person's house, property. They might be in a rural area where there's no internet reception or cell phone reception or very limited reception. And sometimes our sellers, just depending on their age difference and things like that, sometimes they don't have internet at home. And it's totally fine. Grab some paper. Do what you have to do. When it's available, though, guys, use technology to be your friend. So not only does it make you look more professional, it allows you to do this a little bit more efficiently. And whenever you're working inside of a CRM and these leads, because that's what they are, these registrations come in, you can actually have them automatically start on a smart plan, like we call them in Command, where they start an auto drip, and the first thing that it quote unquote drips on them is hopefully a text message that says, I just really want to thank you for coming to the open house today. I hope you enjoyed seeing the house. Something immediate that's going to hit their phone within the next couple of hours after they leave, and it's going to do it automatically for you. If it's not going to do it automatically for you, then you know what? You have a Google form. You have all those phone numbers. You can sit there and copy and paste the same text message when you're finished from that Google form, all those cell phone numbers that they registered with you, and you can do that before you leave the open house. You start to create a system where you can get these things done before you actually leave the property. So let's talk a little bit about marketing and what needs to be done right after the open house. Okay. Actually, I really wanted to talk about let's talk about what goes on after the open house in just a minute. Let's talk about how to make sure that people are getting to your open house. And any of you that already have buyers that are in your pipeline, you already have a database, you're already built up your foundation of your business. The first thing that you're going to do is you're going to be posting this on Facebook. You're going to be posting it on whatever other social media accounts that you use, and putting it on your story, putting it on your Facebook business page, your Twitter, your Snapchat even. I have a friend of mine who does a ton on Snapchat, and I don't understand it, but I'm not judging, right? You use whatever marketing plans that you have, whatever social media you have. And then you're going to make sure that you're getting this out to your database. Does your database even know that you're holding these successful open houses? And do the buyers in your pipeline know that you're going to be out with boots on the ground this weekend? Make sure that they know. That means you're going to have to, at some point, if you're going to do this really well, you're going to have to make sure that your database is actually plugged in to whatever database system or CRM you're using. We always, any MLS that gives us an option, Zillow, Realtor, Trulia, any place where our listings are marketed, that there's an option to add the fact that there's an open house coming up, we always put it on there. So Zillow, Realtor, and Trulia.com, when you're logged in as the realtor, you can actually select your listing and schedule an open house on there, so that when somebody else is on the website and they're looking at a certain criteria, there's a little button that pops up that essentially shows them, hey, there's an open house coming up for this house really soon, and you should probably check it out. So we also talked about in one of our previous calls, somebody said putting it on Evite and Eventbrite. Those are two free sources where you can put your marketing. You schedule your open house, you have your pictures, you have links that will lead them back to your website, and putting it out there on those also allows you to be found on Google if somebody is searching for open houses in a certain area. Make sure you're using your keywords, right? Is somebody going to be searching that house because of the school district? Make sure you include the school district in the post, in the Eventbrite, if you're going to do those kind of things. Everything that you do needs to be done with a purpose. The other thing that I would ask you guys to do is, whenever you're posting photos of these homes, pick the photos that are a little bit different than what you're used to. Do not get the street view head-on photo. Those are nice sometimes. If that is the best photo of that house, is what it looks like from the front, use that photo. But if it's really about the view, or if it's really about the fact that it's a horse property, or if it's really about that kitchen, then take those photos. Make yourself a cute little collage, or use one of those as the main photo to draw people in. And use beautiful photos. That's the other thing. You want to actually bring people in and make them want to be at the open house. Now, I'm not sure how many of you have used Command at all. I have begun using the design templates, and I actually really, really like how clean they are, how easy they are to use. It has been a really long time since I had done any type of graphic design. I'm not particularly good at it, so that's not something I would have gone to school for or anything like that. And when we did, I just tested them out within the past 2 weeks, and I have really, really liked Command's Design Center. So you can take photos from your favorite listing and actually create your social media posts, and even save your images that you want to put in emails, that you want to put on any type of social media blast. If you want to send postcards, you can create it there too. And I just loved the fact that I could add my own photos, I could add my own logo for the team, and I could take something that they made look really beautiful, and I could even tweak that. I didn't have to be stuck inside of their boundaries. So check out Command for your open house designs and putting something out there that's visually attractive. I apologize for any background noise that you guys can hear. I am in the quietest place that I can. Awesome. So I'm moving on to actually being in the open house. And being in an open house, it takes a special breed of person, and it also takes an absolute presence to bond with people, to build rapport with them, to build something special. And some of you might need to check your energy sometimes before you walk into an open house. Your entire purpose is to I'm so sorry. Hang on just a second. I apologize, guys. Give me just a second. I truly apologize for that interruption. So when you think about walking into an open house, I want you to have gotten every bit of your energy in the right place. I want you walking in understanding that you are there to serve, to help, to build rapport. You are the entertainer right now. You have to put on your very best. So if you had a really crappy morning, or you found out that an offer fell apart yesterday or anything like that, you've got to table it. You've got to get your energy right, whether that means listening to some really awesome 80s music or something like that before you walk in, or saying some affirmations, or expressing your gratitude. I'm telling you guys, your energy will be the determining factor of whether you succeed in this open house or not. And so you're going to bring the energy, but the whole point is to be natural and genuine. Compliment your guests, build rapport with them. Yes, we're going to require everyone to sign in, and yet that's not our first and foremost request of them, right? Our first line out of our mouths, if you guys see this quote right here below, people come to open houses for one of two reasons. They're either thinking about buying a similar house, or their neighbors thinking about selling theirs. Which one are you? That's your script, guys. Hey, how you doing? I'm such and such. What's your name? Get their name. You're being genuine. You're being kind. You're, talking to them like a human being, not a salesperson, not a robot. You're just talking to them. And then your close is going to be that close right there. That is your golden script, guys. That is everything. It's going to uncover immediately why they walked into that house to begin with. And when I worked in retail, I worked at of all places, a cowboy boot store, right? Boots, etc. is what it was called. And those boots, if you've ever shopped for cowboy boots, you know that well-made boots run usually $300 and up. And there were so many people that would walk into that store all the time, and then they would turn around and walk out if nobody stopped and helped them. If nobody built rapport with them, if nobody asked the right questions. And my boss one day told me that probably the most valuable piece of information that anybody has ever told me. And she said, you think people get in their car, drive here from their home or from wherever they were, and walk in, come pull in, park at our store and walk in, and they didn't have the idea that they might want to buy something? No. They walked in knowing they were looking for something. Our job as the store managers, the store sales staff, everything is to uncover what was it that they were looking to buy, and can we help them get it? Guys, if you're holding an open house and somebody walks in, they walked in for a reason. What's your belief system around why they walked in? Are you going, another looky-loo, another tire kicker? Well, if that's what you think they are, that's what they're probably going to be to you, because everything else that they say or do is going to support that belief that you have. Versus if you go, they walked in for a reason. I'm going to uncover what the reason is, and I'm going to see if I can help them. This script right here allows you to uncover what that is, allows you to build rapport appropriately, because you don't want to build a ton of rapport with the buyers who, like, they're the buyer that your friend agent called you earlier in the week and said, my buyers are going to be there this weekend. Can you make sure to look out for them? And I just want to make sure that my commission's protected. You don't want to spend 45 minutes of your open house time nurturing them. They have an agent. You can be polite and take care of them where they need to be taken care of, but you want to build rapport with the potential seller or potential buyer that just walked in. This also helps you keep in control of the situation when multiple guests arrive, because if you're in the middle of a conversation with someone, you know that they are a seller that lives down the street, you've already got their name and number or whatever, and they're registered, and they're to say, hey, someone just walked in, I'm going to go introduce myself, so that they know who I am and know how to get the information that they need. You've got to transition out of any conversation, because now you know who you're standing in front of. You know whether it's important to stay in that conversation or if it's okay if you walk out of it. That script alone is going to serve you tremendously. So can somebody go into the comments and tell me, or the questions, and tell me, did I teach you guys LP Mama at all yet? All right, awesome. So I'm going to actually pull it up if it's okay with you guys. And then I will, I'll send this in to also get plugged into your stuff. I will pull the actual LP Mama script. I'm just going to pull a pamphlet that I have that I really love to send to people. I did not write it though, so I cannot give you this one. I'll have to give you another one. Yeah. All right. You guys write down the acronym LPMAMA. I call that LP LP mama. It's just fun to say, right? And while this is an important script, if you find yourself in front of a buyer and it's time to start building rapport and finding out what their actual needs are, this is actually the script for anyone working with buyers, period. You ever talk to somebody checking out at the grocery store and they say, I've been thinking about buying a house? Boom, you're going to LP mama them, okay? You get a sign call from somebody and they're calling about your listing, or you have no idea what listing they're calling on. You have no idea how they got your phone number. Fine, let's LP mama them, okay? LP mama is a conversation that you're going to take potential buyers through. This is a buyer script, okay? So the L stands for location. Where do they want to live? You guys can see this on the screen, hopefully. Price is how much house can they afford, right? Are they paying cash? Are they going to get financing? What kind of financing, etc.? Motivation. This is a kicker. A lot of agents out in the world waste their time with people whose motivation is not there. People who just really love to look at houses have essentially hired you for free to be a tour guide. Getting an answer to motivation is one of the most crucial things you can do as an agent. And then the key here, another favorite one besides motivation, is are they working with an agent? Do they have a signed buyer agency? And do they have a family member that's in the business? Because that seems to be the one that bites people the most often. Is my aunt lives, a little bit further away. She can't show me houses, but she really wanted to write my offer when I found a house. Does your aunt know that you've been taking realtors around? No, they don't know that. Mortgage. It's a little bit more specific, not just, hey, what price can you afford? It's, do you need a mortgage? Are you pre-approved? Where's your conversation been with a lender kind of thing? And after you've gone through all of those parts of it, the natural next progression of this conversation is closing for the appointment. And any of you who see the typo down at the bottom, I'll just remind you that I didn't type this one, even though if I had typed it, it probably would have still had a typo in it. It's not an app appointment, it's just an appointment. And so when you follow this script, what it actually sounds like is somebody stops in, they're at your open house, you close with so people usually come into my open house for one of two different reasons. They're either somebody looking for a house similar to this, they're interested in buying, or they're a seller that lives nearby and they're curious what their own house is worth. So which one of those is you? And they say, well, we're looking for a house similar to this, but this one's just not going to work for us. So thank you so much. We appreciate it, but we're on our way. Have a good day. You go, well, where are you guys looking to move to? Are you hoping to be in this school district? Or are you hoping to be in whatever is significant about the area that you're in? Are you looking to be close by to this house? Let them answer. Okay, great. What price range have you been looking in? I know this one is blank price. It's $350. Is that the price range you were hoping to stay within? And they go, well, actually, no, this was a little bit higher than what we wanted. We really wanted to be under $250, but man, I love this neighborhood. This neighborhood's just awesome. Oh, I totally understand. And there's actually quite a few on the market that are within your price point. We may be able to make something happen. So just out of curiosity, by when do you have to find a house? And then depending on what they answer, great. So my favorite way to ask the agent portion is, great, when you do find the right house, who's going to be writing your offer for you? Because that'll usually tell you if they've got an agent in mind. And then at the end of that, you just go, okay, great. So are you going to be paying cash, or are you getting a mortgage? So we're definitely getting a mortgage. I understand. So where are you at in your conversation with your lender? Have you gotten full pre-approval, or have you just had your credit score run, or have you even started the conversation? Just let them answer. You know what? The natural next best step is, if you're really serious about finding a home in this market, I'd love to sit down and show you how you can work with me for free, and I can find you this place. So I've got an appointment scheduled. I've got some time available right after this open house. Would you be available to meet me as soon as it ends? That's closing for the appointment, right? That is LP Mama. And somebody threw a question in here. So Angela asked, do you use the script when you meet them, like when they first walk in the door or after they've seen the house? Angela, I'm going to ask you to follow your gut. If they're about to walk out and you know they're a potential buyer, it's time to do something. Your Hail Mary needs to be, well, don't go anywhere. You know, I know that you guys said that this house isn't going to work for you. What area are you looking at? Maybe I can pull you up some houses real quick. We can talk about it. You're going to go through the LP Mama script, right? With the ultimate goal of getting an appointment. If they walk in and they haven't seen the house yet, I would let them do what they came there to do and come and see the house. Granted, you guys have also put out Keller Mortgage frames throughout the house. They have another reason to come and talk to you about this special financing thing that they've seen. We're doing everything we can to encourage people not to just see the house and leave. We want them to come back to you. But at the same time, Angela, if somebody's talking to me and I get wind that they're a buyer, I might say, you know, I might ask some of these questions up front. And then I might watch and wait for them to come back to the main living space that I'm in and have them finish out the conversation while I'm asking them, what did you think of the house? Will it work for you? Because guys, 99.9% of the time, the house is not going to work for the people that walked in the door. And that's okay, because that's why you're learning these systems, so that you can pick up the buyers and sellers that come from it. And for those of you who go on listing appointments and your seller says, I heard from other agents that open houses don't really sell homes, so why would you hold an open house on mine? And I would say, you know what? You're absolutely right. You know, only 1 in 20 open houses that we hold, or whatever your number is, we actually sell the house that we're marketing. But you know what? When we hold 3 or 4 open houses in a weekend, we do pick up on buyers from other open houses that generate the buyer for your house, and vice versa. So while I'll be holding open houses at all the other listings, I'd love a chance to hold an open house at yours so that we can scratch your back and scratch theirs at the same time. It's part of an overall strategy to generate as many buyers as possible for you and every other seller that we work with. I don't lie to them. Just tell them the truth. So we're going to wrap up next week with a few more systems and to help you guys close out what to do when you have these leads after they've registered, after they're in your system. You're going to be going a little bit deeper into that conversation. I've actually missed a couple of slides, and I just want to make sure that I go over this for those of you who are filling in blanks on your form. You know, if you hear of a buyer and they're not represented by an agent, the whole goal is for you to become their agent. That's why I just taught you some of these scripts here, to make sure you're figuring out who you're actually talking to, and you know, if they actually have an agreement with another agent, or if they've been calling listing agents or going on open houses. Today could have been the first day that they stepped foot in anything. They could have called a few listing agents. The listing agents opened doors for them, but they don't have a brokerage relationship with anyone. If they do have a brokerage relationship, allow them to walk the house either with their agent or alone. If you're monitoring the open house, everything's put up, allow them to go walk the home and then ask them if they have any questions. But you're going to actually send them back to their realtor. You want to respect, I call that crossing signs. If you're ever prospecting somebody that already has a brokerage engagement with another broker or another realtor, you never, ever, ever want to be trying to take business from your competitors that's already secured. If nobody's secured it, they're still fair game, okay? They're going out, they're looking at multiple homes with open houses, calling listing agents. It's fine. You know, if they haven't signed an agreement. And so I would move forward. The minute they say, I have an agent that's working with me and this is who we're working with, just say, great, is there any information you'd like me to send them? With your guest registration, if anybody ever gives you any hard time about filling out the registration and actually putting something in there, I would just tell them, listen, for security reasons, I have to get a registration from everyone. And if you do not want me to contact you after all is said and done, just put a little star next to your name. It's going to be fine, guys. Like, don't let it turn into something. And just do it with a smile and do it with a downswing when you're talking. Everybody's got to fill in their information. If you wouldn't mind, go ahead and register for me. Everyone needs to register for security reasons. And if they start giving you any resistance, say, listen, if you're concerned about me reaching out to you afterwards, just put a star next to your name. I promise you I'll respect the fact that you don't want me to reach out to you. And then honor that. And earlier I asked you guys to consider buying, while I don't advocate buying a lot of things, buying what I call swag, right? Buying little pizza cutters or keychains or anything like that where you've got something branded that you can send home with them. If the client is asking for more information, that's also a really awesome trigger to be able to say, you know what, I only have one copy of this property disclosure. What's your email? And I'll send it right over to you. That's a great close for getting their contact information. And if they really want what you have to offer, they're going to give you the correct contact information. There's a lot of little tweaks that you can make to make sure that you are closing the gap. What questions, what ahas, what do you guys have about today's topic? And then we're going to finalize this next week. Next week's topic is essentially going to be, what do you do and how do you communicate with your leads once you get out of the open house? How do you communicate with the seller, give feedback, all of that wonderful things. Make sure that we teach you guys some etiquette. And then I will be holding a bonus call that will just be about safety, 100% about safety, and making sure that you guys are protecting yourselves and thinking about certain things that we don't always get taught. I grew up in a karate studio, so I do think about them. But I also went and I dug for you guys and I made sure I got as many safety principles as possible. So we've got a couple more calls to make sure that we round out this information. Does anybody have any questions? Naomi, I'm going to ask, Naomi's having a hard time finding the portal to get to Basecamp and get the information. Naomi, I'm going to ask that you email maps at KW so that Corey and I can get that squared away for you to make sure that you have the login. That's where like the information sheets that you're filling out during these sessions and the link to the webinar and everything like that is, and where she's storing all this and the recordings for the calls as well. So if you'll email maps@kw.com. I love, we've got somebody in here that gives away a small gift to anyone who schedules an appointment. I love that. We give a gift to anybody who wants to take one, so either way is fine. I'm trying to read this. Smart plan called for the text auto drip. I'm honestly, Erin, I'm using a different system, so I don't know what Keller Williams has in command yet. We're still working on getting everything moved over to there. And so I believe, somebody correct me if I'm wrong, I believe it's Twilio that does the texting. And so that would be something that you can integrate in command when you've got your people registered. I would suggest that you guys dig in a little bit more to command and make sure you know how to integrate the landing page, right? How can I create a landing page that's an open house registration? How can I get it to where the leads will automatically tag as a certain something, and then how to put it on that texting plan or the email plan afterwards. And you got to give them a little bit of grace. They're building a huge system for 180,000 agents. They're changing almost by the hour what they have available to us. So if you are struggling with that at all, I would encourage you to write your system and then manage it a little bit more manually right now as they're building out the system for us. I have not hosted any open houses that incorporate community give back, and yet I think that would be really great for especially like a luxury home or something like that, where we're working on making this an event more than an open house, and making it something where we're really working on getting more people or even agents into the room. And so if you want, I would go back to your notes from one of our previous calls where we talked about how to turn it into an event, and that's where I would plug that in. Doing a give back or a give like where you're doing more community involvement or raising money or collecting coats and shoes and things like that, whatever it is that you're working on, I would make that part of how it becomes an invitation. I don't know if that's manageable. You decide. I don't know if it's manageable for every single open house. Depends on how many you're going to hold and what your open houses are going to look like. All right, guys. And with that, thank you for your patience today as I had to take a little pause in the middle of the call. Traveling gives us a couple of just hiccups along the way, a little stumbling block, and I'm just so grateful to be your MAPS coach when it comes to open houses. And if you'd like to take this to the next level, if any of you ever are ready to take it to the next level and hire a mastery coach, feel free to email me, call me, anything like that, and I will help make sure that you get assigned to somebody who's wonderful and is going to help you take your business to the next level. Until then, I will talk to you guys next week, and we will finalize these systems, and then we'll work on safety. I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your week.